Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hope for the Soul podcast. Today, we are launching season 6. We have some exciting things coming soon. But for now, I hope that you enjoy this episode. Okay, and we are live. Welcome back, everybody. This is season 6.
Season 6.
Of Hope for the Soul. And I know that you've missed me the most. Okay, y'all ready?
We are ready.
I have actually 2 jokes this morning. What do you call a chicken staring at lettuce?
Tell us.
Chicken Caesar salad. I don't know.
So dumb.
I don't know what it is with chicken jokes, but they kill me.
Do we get these jokes from like the kindergarten newsletter?
No, sometimes I'm sent jokes. Sometimes I see them in video format, and I kind of have to edit them. Okay, but
we have sanctified jokes.
Yes.
Let me say this. There's a really good joke coming November the 3rd. There's a really good joke coming.
Yeah, I like that one. But did anyone see that spine joke posted about a week back?
A week back.
Whoop.
Oh, my goodness. This is embarrassing.
I'm still missing it. Have you caught it yet?
A week? Not a week ago, but like no strength. A week.
Oh.
Yeah, no, a week back. Both of them.
I see, yes.
Maybe a week mine.
But the punchline. I'm actually shocked that I got that before Dad, because Dad's normally pretty quick on it.
It's
Kayla, her jokes are not meant to be funny. Her jokes are meant to make us look ignorant.
So when I heard spy, I started thinking CIA and spies. That's where my mind was going.
Oh, no, about a spine.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Usually it's not funny when you have to explain it, but it's funny this time.
That was a good explanation. So Alex is in the room. You just heard her laugh.
Hey,
We've rearranged. Yes.
you have my earphones on.
These are yours?
Uh-huh.
Dad and I wore the black ones.
Those are not black, son. Those
are
are pretty
gold.
Folks,
Oh.
this is the way we live here in this ministry.
Yeah.
We have the pastor of the church with women's apparel wearing his wife's.
This
Pretty
we should be
earbuds
very
today.
careful here. We should be very careful. I was looking at them upside down. All right. Well, here we are.
Uh-huh. I was the one who was blamed. You did something with your headphones.
Well, let's just say we've got, 5 or 6 episodes recorded for this season, but this is the first time we've recorded in a couple months, so we're out of the practice.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm out of the...
Trying to get back into the swing of things.
So Alex is here. You don't see her, but you'll hear her, and she's doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Alex, how was your time off of Hope for the Soul?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was good. I went, how long have we gone? This summer?
Oh, yeah, just tell the people about your break.
Yeah, I went home. I went to NYC. Just traveled. And then I just got a cat. So
Alex is a cat woman.
Uh-oh.
I just got a kitten.
Alex's employment just came under question.
Alex,
I'm just playing.
something
Alex.
happened, honey.
Your mom came down,
Yeah, my mom.
And your sister.
My niece all visited.
and your niece, Fallon, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So right now I'm giving Alex the side eye.
You're giving that. That's great. Yeah, so we've had fun. It's been a good summer at Conroe Church.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Lots of updates.
Lots of updates, lots of growth.
Yeah.
I think it's neat that traditionally here, we have our patterns and the way things have been here over the years. And traditionally, Conroe Church on July, it's not an up month. It's usually people are gone, people are disconnected. But I think probably on every metric that we measure, the parking lots have been full, the benches have been full.
It's been good.
And so on all those metrics that we measure, we've had some record numbers. During this July. I think we've had a record July, but in certain areas, this has been one of our best months in 30-something years.
I remember, was it in May or June, we took Alex to lunch, me and Kayla, and we said, look, we're going into summer. I'm going to be going to the office. Kayla's going to the office one day a week. She's going to stay with the kids.
That never happened, by the way.
Never happened. I'm sorry about that. And we were basically bracing her for what normally happens around the summer, just lower attendance, which is fine. We're ready for it. We expect it. It doesn't bother us. We know that people travel.
You have to go with the flow sometimes.
And everything that we warned Alex about, the opposite happened. So I don't know if I guess it's a good thing that the opposite happened, but
yeah.
And then she goes and gets a cat.
And then she got a cat. Is that cat black, Alex?
Yes.
Oh! We just thought fall we were going to keep on growing, but then Alex got a black cat.
Alex got a cat.
He cursed the whole
We're
operation.
going to change the side eye now to the stink eye.
Alex, I'm so disappointed in you, girl.
Poor Alex.
When did this happen? Well, I just heard about this.
I think I heard about it a couple
like-
weeks ago, didn't I?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I literally just decided. It was kind of really last minute spontaneous, which isn't me.
Did somebody give it to you, or did you find it,
Found
or
it on Facebook.
somebody was ready to get rid of their cat?
They had a little litter of kittens, and I left music practice, and I told Kayla, I said, I think I'm going to go get a cat, and she just looked at me like, what? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go pick him up now.
So you're going to need to get you. Maybe we can buy for her Christmas. Why don't we buy her a cat tower? One of those things where they have these. That
We
would be
can do
neat.
that.
Yeah.
Alex, your Christmas bonus is not going to be for you.
It's going to be for Teddy.
Is that the cat's name?
Theodore Lawrence.
Cats don't have middle names.
You know what? That's his last name. Well, I guess his last name's probably
Shirley.
Yeah, but
Until-
he's named after a book character. So
Oh,
Teddy.
Alex. Lord have mercy.
yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a good summer. We just wrapped up well, we're not all the way wrapped up. We've got a little bit left to do, but the majority of all of our paint project is done except for a couple small details on the parsonage.
One day's work.
One day's
Yeah.
work that just kind of slipped through that we missed. Looks really good. Really excited. Back to school bash. That was a great service.
Yes, it was. It was hot.
Oh, it was.
It was so hot, y'all.
That's because Alex bought that cap. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I think there's a lot of potential for that moving forward in the future. Kids are back in school for us, so the normal routine comes
Wah,
back.
wah, wah.
The first day of school is my favorite day of the year, and it's Kayla's least favorite day of the year.
I hate it.
I hate it, yeah. So we've got a lot of cool things planned. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we've recorded several episodes back in June. And next week we will air one of those it'll be an episode with Murray and Garrett Ray, their father-son duo. They pastor in Bridge City, Texas. Really good episode. At the end of that, Alex looked at me and said, I was crying during that episode.
That's awesome.
So
I
yeah,
can't wait to hear it.
it was really good. A lot of they have a podcast called A Time to Speak, so they promote that a good bit in it, and I'm really excited about that episode. And then the week after that, it will be back here in this room, and we're going to talk about devotion, personal prayer, basically just spiritual practice. We want to be very practical. We're going to talk about so 1 or 2 episodes a month. We're going to go beyond a sermon that either I or Pastor Smith preached.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to do that. We're going to go beyond a sermon I preached back the first week of June. But on September 8th, we are going to discuss one of Dad's sermons. And so Dad, I really need you to be praying and fasting and preach a really, really good preach one, just a barn burner. Just preach the sermon of all sermons. So we really have a lot to discuss there. So then we're going to talk about missions as we lead into our missions conference. My friend Christian Collins is going to be on. I have an episode with Brother Huntley and a lot of other ministers. So that's kind of the next 2 months. But we're planned all the way through December. I think it was, 17 or 18 episodes?
Yeah, 17.
17 episodes, and we'll probably record a couple more between now and then, and we might have some bonus episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the bonus episodes is what's fun.
Yeah, so we won't even tell you that we're going to do that. It'll just be a random Monday or Tuesday if those drop. So your RSS feed will automatically update. Anything else?
I think you covered it all.
I covered it all.
So did y'all took some time off?
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about us personally. Yeah.
Yeah. We took some time off. We took the kids to San Antonio.
Stayed at a new resort, which was awesome. Probably go back to that now.
Yeah, really fun. We took one day and went to Fiesta, Texas, and we could have saved $5,000 and not even gone. First of all, it was so hot. Oh my goodness, it was so hot. And Allie doesn't do any rides that she goes upside down.
Loop-de-loops is what she calls them.
She does not do loop-de-loops. And then Presley, he
does, but he wasn't feeling good that day.
He wasn't feeling good that day, and so he felt just kind of blah. He rode a few rides, but still, even those, he was just like, he didn't feel that great. Kinley will ride everything under the sun.
5 times. And it was so hot, there wasn't a lot of people. It was so hot that day, there wasn't a lot of people under the sun.
Yeah.
So he rode me. I got suckered into riding. Oh, and I don't know what happened. I used to be the roller coaster king of the universe.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, remember going to Astroworld? Never get off Grease Lightning, especially at close time. You just stay on it. You just run you back and forth. No, what's that ride that he got me on?
It was kind of like it. No, remember that one we all did it, that Roadrunner ride?
Yeah, that was fun.
It kind of reminded us
of the Cyclone, old wooden roller coaster style.
Uh-huh.
No, but what's the ride that went in circles and then it also flipped?
Yeah.
I don't
remember.
It was like you're sitting on a plane. It's like a merry-go-round that goes up and down like 50 feet in the air. And as you're going at a high rate of speed in a circle,
it flips you upside down.
The airplane you're on is doing barrel rolls. And it is the longest ride. I think I spent 2 hours on that ride.
90 seconds.
He comes,
It was so.
He comes down and he is like white as a ghost.
I felt like I was gonna make a mess. It was. I never felt like I was gonna throw up more in my life, but that day.
Yeah.
That ruined the day for us.
Yeah.
So then we just went back to the hotel, let the kids swim.
Yep.
So Dad, what about you? And Mom?
Oh, well, we took some time off. We went up the East Coast. We had we went to a lot of neat places, ate a lot of lobster, and
those pictures looked really good.
Oh, I want to go back up. The neatest thing we did was, I forget the name of the community, but the #1 rated restaurant in that whole area is this little shack. It sits on the main corner of town.
A lobster shack?
It's a lobster shack. And people were in line 2 or 3 hours early. And we got in line, and it was raining. And we stood in line for like 2.5 hours to pay $100 for a sack of food that we had to run to the car and eat. But it was just
phenomenal.
It may be the emotion of the whole journey, but
it was good because you had a lot of effort in that line.
It was good because I was with your mama.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. We were together.
Mom, way to go. It brought it full circle. Mm-hmm. All right, so today, beyond the sermon, we are going to dive into a sermon that I preached, I think the first Sunday of June, called Why Your Family Needs the Church. And we're talking about this because Kayla told us we were talking about this today. I wouldn't have done this myself. So
it was really good.
So since you told me to talk about it, you started.
But to help you here, we had like a 3-sermon series, but it was only 3 messages, but each message happened in a different month.
Yeah,
I think the first one was why
your family needs the church.
Why your family needs the church, and then you came back with why you need a pastor. What was the third one?
There wasn't a third one.
Yeah, it was just
okay.
2.
Well, then I've just shared misinformation with you, but we don't worry about that. So there was 2 sermons over 3 months.
Yeah, part 1, part 2.
And this was, I think, incredible. We had some wonderful responses in the house and online. Mm-hmm. And I would say that our online reach is becoming for us, quite impressive. And I'm touched that we're seeing results from those that view online. But this sermon was, I believe, extremely effective. So why our family needs the church. Talk to us.
So obviously in our culture, if you didn't know, the majority of people do not attend church. And from my perspective and God's perspective, the church is, if not the most important thing, one of the most important things in any society, not just Western society. Why is that? Well, that's because Jesus is coming back for the church. He's not coming back for individuals. He's coming back for the bride. And we know that we are a part of the bride if we've been filled with the Holy Spirit, baptized in Jesus' name, and endeavoring our best to walk in a lifestyle of righteousness. So the majority of people don't attend church, and I think a lot of the issues in culture is kind of what was stirring me. God was using to stir me. And when I preached this message, it was on Dedication Sunday. We had a lot of people that aren't members of Conroe Church here, that don't normally attend church just because their niece or their nephew was being dedicated, or their grandbaby. Or
how many did we dedicate that day?
Oh, that was I think we had 6 or 7, but that signed up.
It was more
that signed
than
up, but I think it was like 14.
Yeah, I was going to
14,
say like
15.
15 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was to me, it was like the pinnacle Sunday of the year so far.
We had one lady bring her husband and dedicated her husband. That was better than your joke.
So on that Sunday, I knew that I had to preach. There was a lot of people that aren't normally in church. And so this was an appeal to people to reprioritize church. And not just, it was reaffirming to the saved, but reaching for the lost, and reminding us all the importance of what the church is, the role of the church in society. 31% of Americans never attend church or synagogue, compared to 20% of Americans who attend church every week. So that's some staggering numbers, and only 20% of our population are weekly attenders.
So you have that. You've researched that figure,
Yes.
about 20% now.
Yes, this is according to Gallup, and this was just released. In the sermon, I had a slide. Maybe, Alex, you want to resend me that slide, and I'll pop it up right here on the podcast.
Well, I will share this with you. I'm doing some research of the 19th century for a project, and in the early 19th century, like 1820s and 30s, we would have a 25 to 26% church attendance in America. And the 2 or 3 years preceding and then following the Civil War, that was at 1860, 1865, that number from 25 or so percent, it fell to like 23 to 22%. So there was a decline of church attendance. But as the 20th century approached, those numbers increased to like 29 and 30% church membership. So now you're saying that you've got researched.
This is a survey done by Gallup, and I don't remember all the details off the top of my head, but in the sermon, and we'll post it here as well. It shows. I mean, it's the image I got off of
very
the
interesting.
website. Yeah. So the church is very important, and so let me stop and say this here. So 20% of Americans attend church on a weekly basis, but far more than 20% of Americans identify as Christians or profess to be a Christian. So that's a big gap that's staggering. Like that's like saying I'm married but I never go home. Like that's not healthy.
Well, you have you're probably at least in the 40s to 50% that would claim to be Christians, but 50% of those that claim to be Christians don't attend church regularly. These are rough numbers, but that is staggering.
So culture has created an idea among a lot of Christians, obviously, probably 50% of professing Christians, we can say, that there's no reason, there's no benefit to being a member of a church. This has bred a spirit of no accountability, no identity or purpose, and no commitment among many believers. And I doubled down on that, and I really stressed that in my sermon. And then I gave 5 reasons. The first reason why your family needs the church is your family needs people who will care for them. We all need care. We all need love. We all need attention. Yeah. We all need not only the attention and love of our Heavenly Father, but we need to know that there's people in this life that are walking with us, that are standing with us, that on my darkest day, as the song says, I'm still a child of God. But I need to know that not only am I a child of God, I've got other children of God that are back behind me, propping me up because I'm too weak to stand by myself. John 13:12-15, when he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. And he said, do you understand what I've done for you? He asked them, this speaking of Jesus, you call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. The purpose of the church is that we are there for each other. We wash each other's feet. That's a sign of humility. That's a sign of there's no problems between us. This is really something. Other. Yes, it's a sign of service. So it doesn't matter if you're an independent person. You need the church. Doesn't matter if you say, well, I'm shy, and I'm just going to stay at home and I'm going to watch online, or I'm just going to read my Bible. That's good and great, and we all need to do that at home. But regardless of our personality, we have to have the church. And let me, this wasn't in my notes, but I had a conversation with some men that I'm teaching Bible studies to every Thursday. Last week we had this conversation. And a lot of people say, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. I mean, I get why people say that in today's culture, because nobody just wants to go to a church and check off a list of rules. And in a lot of people's mind, religion has done a lot of bad things in the world, and it has, both Christian religion and other non-Christian religions. There's been wars where thousands and thousands and thousands of people have died over religion. But we forget what the Bible says. Pure religion, undefiled before God, is what? Caring for each other, caring for the homeless, caring for the poor. We need to be very careful when we say we're not religious, we're spiritual. We need to be spiritual, but according to the words of Jesus, we also need to have pure religion. Get with our tribe, we get with our blood, or we get with our close friends, and we don't branch out. That's not healthy. Healthy Christians, healthy believers, yes, we have our tribe, we have our inner circle, we have our people, we have our family, but we break outside of that, and we go eat with someone that we don't know. We go eat with someone who we don't text. We don't even have their phone number. We become friends with them, and we get their number, and we bring them in to our inner circle. We need encouragement. A man who has friends must himself be friendly, is what Proverbs said. And so I spent a little bit of time about that. I'm dedicated and I'm fully committed to creating and helping cultivate a culture here at Conroe Church that we are a friendly church. Everybody says that their church is friendly. Everybody says.
Well, it goes beyond just a, hey, so good to have you today. It takes more time of your time, honestly, sacrificing your time.
Friendly means moving towards friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship requires sacrifice. And we can't say we're friendly because we shake somebody's hand. We can't say we're friendly because we've got a good first impressions team.
Yeah.
Can't say we're friendly because as we sing about having the joy of the Lord, the worship team has a smile on their face.
Well, friendship, relationships are expensive.
Cost us.
They cost you. And it might not be money. It will be money, but it might not be money every time. It may cost you time. It may cost you a little bit of travel. If you value someone. And I've also come to this conclusion that there are those people who say that you're friends, but they don't. I've had this happen to me. I've had people that I thought were friends, but they don't value that, quote, friendship enough to invest in it. So my efforts at times to reach out to someone and say, meet for lunch or something like that, and it's rebuffed time and time again. It was obvious that I was investing more into that relationship than they were.
Yep.
And so I think here at the church, we've got to be willing to make an investment.
Yeah, and I think we have to be willing to be all right with investing more than what some people are capable of investing. Like, as much as that may hurt and as disappointing as that may be at times, we have to be okay with being the second mile people.
Yeah.
I was talking with someone, a mentor elder, emailed him several months ago, or I guess it was a year ago, and he said, Trent, you'll find that there's no traffic jams on the road to the second mile. And I was just like, oh, all right, you're right. In other words, there's not a lot of people willing to go the second mile in life and business and ministry and leadership and friendship. But the second mile, if you can push through and get to that second mile, once you get to that second mile, yeah, you're going to always have some first mile people in your life. There's going to be some 0 mile people in your life. There's going to be some people that get behind you and try to draft you and want to use all your energy. That's fine. But whenever you get to the second mile, we will discover that the other people there that have made it to the second mile, that's some people you can run with. That's some people you can trust. And those are people who will always have your back and always have, there's going to be differences of opinion. There's going to be differences of thought process, maybe ideological differences. But those people will recognize the value in what you're doing in your life. For instance, I'm purposely developing relationship with business owners and entrepreneurs and people like this that aren't members of Conroe Church, but we relate on so many ways because I acknowledge the sacrifice of what they're putting out to achieve their dreams and goals. And likewise, they acknowledge the drive, the tenacity, the burden, the conviction that's fueling my life and my calling. And those people, when we get together, we strengthen and encourage each other. And it's a form of ministry. They minister to me and don't even know it. They're not even ministers. Some of them aren't even saved. But whenever you go the second mile and extend encouragement to people, you are always better. And Conroe Church is a church of second mile people. It's amazing the people, how they sacrifice, how they give of their time. We show up on a weekly basis, Dad, and there's a car in the parking lot, somebody doing something. There's we show up and something's been done that we saw needed done, and we'll get to it in a couple of days, and it was done before we even mentioned it to somebody. Your family needs the church because it needs encouragement. That's number 2. We have to hurry. Number 3, your family needs people to partner with. 2 and 3 are really close to each other. No branch, Jesus said in John 15, no branch can bear fruit by itself. Obviously, he was speaking that we need him. We need to depend upon Jesus. And we do need to partner with Jesus. Without Jesus, he's the author, the finisher of our faith. Without him, we have nothing. But when we all work together, we can accomplish more for the kingdom of God. When a husband and wife works together and has a common goal for their marriage, They're going to achieve the goal faster than they thought. When they have a common goal for their children are going to rise to the occasion more times than not and meet and or surpass the goal. In business and in finance, it's the same. So if it's the same in the natural, that must mean it's probably going to be the same in the spiritual. Why? Because it's a spiritual principle. When we all work together, the old Sunday school song, when we all work together, when we all pull together, how happy we'll be. I'm not a singer, obviously. That's Kayla and Alex. I've heard it said a lot. I've said it here before. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. We have to partner with people. Just talking about second mile people, yeah, it gets lonely at times. But in the middle of the loneliness, we still need to seek out people to partner with. God will send us people to strengthen us and to encourage us and partner with us.
And sometimes when those things happen, those new type relationships that come into your life that can relate to you and you can go further with them, you don't really realize it's happening until it happens, and then you're very surprised when suddenly in your life there has appeared a person, and they may have different ideologies in many areas, but suddenly here's this person that has appeared, and God has allowed this person to be there to help us and to stretch us and develop us and to help us grow as well.
I was talking in the sermon. I told the church that it's not something that just our church staff, those in this room, and Mom and other people, leadership team. It's not just only up to us to encourage people. It's up to all of us. If you call Conroe Church home, it's your job to be an encourager. Like, that's the culture of this house. We lift people up. We don't tear people down. The church is not the place where people get gossiped about. I know it happens in some churches, but we're trying our best to be like Jesus. Yeah. Church hurt's a real thing in society. There are people who have been hurt, their lives who have been shattered. But there's other people who are using this phrase called church hurt as a blanket statement for their own lack of submission, and own lack of ability to be a part of something to help others out. I know that there's real people, and I'm not trying to minimize real hurt, but we can't hide behind church hurt and say, I was hurt. You may or may not have been. That's between you and God is going to help you if you've been hurt, and the church is going to help you if you've been hurt. But Conroe Church is not that place where people get gossip about. I think I told the church in this sermon, maybe it was another sermon, but if we're going to get mean, if we're going to get vicious, if that's going to be the culture of Conroe Church, then I'm out. I'm out. People are hurting. Yeah. There's too many hurting people in the world. Yeah. There's too many broken and confused people in the world for us to waste our time tearing others down. We have to build each other. And it's easy for me to talk like this because Conroe Church is a place that builds people up. And when I was preaching this, it wasn't mean-spirited. It was more, come on, you're doing a good job, rallying the troops. Let's keep doing
Well, I think that what you're just mentioning here is that the spirit of leadership will always be reflected into that ministry, and in your efforts to lead and to say, hey, we're going to love, we're going to not be judgmental, et cetera, we're not going to gossip. Your spirit begins to bleed through. And I think that yesterday when we attended this funeral for this wonderful, beautifully sweet elder who had pastored the same church for 50 years, and there was several that were going to speak, but
hey, wait, no, you left out one part. He pastored the same church. He lived in the same house. And was it
married to the same lady?
Married to the same lady for over 50 years.
Well, he married to the lady for 68 years.
68 years.
They lived in that house
over 40 years.
Well, no, he built that house before they got married.
Okay,
so 60-something years they lived in that house, and that's where he passed. And then he pastored that church for 50-something years.
Right.
And then after that, he was able to stay until his death, which was another
12 years.
12, 15 years, whatever that was.
Incredible.
So, it's just
incredible.
absolutely. But what you saw there was a grandson spoke, and I leaned over and told somebody. The grandson opened up, and it was incredibly sweet and beautiful. And then his son spoke, and I said, "Why do we need all the preachers? I mean, right now, these children have manifest their Father's Spirit.
Nothing else could have been said.
And even the pastor that had come to replace him manifested that sweet,
he had
beautiful,
the same spirit,
that sweet, beautiful essence. And so, who you are will reflect.
Yep.
And so, so point 3 was you need people that will partner with you. And that leads perfectly into what I kind of segued to is in point 4 is your family needs people who will protect you. We need protection in this world.
Yep.
The church, we've got to stand with each other. The church is not the place for people to get hurt. The church reaches and protects and loves everybody. I had, just this past Sunday, young men in the church getting involved in campus ministry at Sam Houston came to me and said, "Hey, Sam Houston is asking me to be involved in a club that has an alternative lifestyle," and I told him I'd have to think about it. And I said, "Why are you thinking about it?" He said, "Well, I didn't know because I'm not comfortable." I said, "Well, if you're not comfortable, you can't do something if you're not comfortable with it. But if you're doing this, the purpose of him being involved is to reach people and to love people." I said, "This lifestyle is alternative. This lifestyle is ungodly, but so is every sin. If you're doing this to reach sinners, dive into that. Dive into that. It doesn't matter that their lifestyle is not what it should be. None of us have always had a perfect lifestyle. And God can forgive any sin. And I think, especially today, this is why the church is so important, that we reach, we protect, and we love everybody. It doesn't mean that we agree with everybody, but we know that God loves us so much that he doesn't let us stay where we are. So that has to be the role of the church, that our loving you protects you from your life of sin. Now, we can't make you make the decision to quit sinning. You have to make that. But our loving you will allow us to have conversations in a very gentle, loving way to where you can feel not judgment and hate, but you can feel our compassion towards you, calling you to a better lifestyle, calling you out.
Well, let me say that you just mentioned church hurt and those things, and then the fact that we have this responsibility to grow and be called out. The church is going to be salt and light, but also there is this expectation. The Lord doesn't leave us. This is what sparked me. The Lord doesn't leave us where he finds us. He expects us to change. And sadly, in today's culture, there are many people who come to the place where it's time for them to grow. It's time for them to mature. It's time for them to do something different within their lives as far as spiritual disciplines, whatever it is, and they refuse. They refuse to grow. They don't, how many times have parents said, "You are going to grow up, child." And so you put pressure. I've seen you do it with your boys when they shake a hand with a man and one of them just throw their hand up and not pay attention. You say, "No, boy, get back here." You squeeze that hand. And so many times people, when it comes time for them to grow, instead of growing, they claim church hurt. Yeah. And so I think we have to have integrity and realize that maybe some of the church hurts are. I know that hurts happen, but at the same time, I do know that it may not be church hurt as much as it is growing pains, and it's not easy to grow beyond ourselves. It's not easy to grow past a habit or past our past. I mean, grow beyond our past. That's not easy.
We can't. There's no excuse for a church or a ministry or a pastor or a minister. There's no excuse for a lack of integrity and ethics and how he's handled a situation or hurt people, or just made decisions for his own life that affected other people, not necessarily trying to hurt other people. There's no excuse for that. That church hurt is real. But sometimes, you're exactly right, Dad. There are people who would want to use the hurt of others as a shelter for their own lack of ability, or not that they don't have the ability, the desire to do what they know they need to do. The church is here to protect us all, though. Ecclesiastes 4:12, this is the Message translation. By yourself, you're unprotected. With a friend, you can face the worst. Can you round up a third friend? In other words, if you can face the worst with one friend, what can you do when there's three of you in a circle? And that leads me to number 5. And I talked about this at the very beginning of our remarks. Your family needs the church because Jesus is coming for the church. Let me just say this very first episode back of season 6 here at Hope for the Soul. Everything we do is to point us to heaven. Everything we do as a ministry is to point us to heaven. Yeah, Hope for the Soul is to give your soul hope. It's to encourage you. But the real purpose of it is another avenue to point you to Jesus, to let you know that there's a better way to live your life. You need the church because Jesus is coming back for the church. Paul said this, 1 Corinthians 15, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Jesus is coming back. Are you ready? Jesus is coming back, and he's coming back for the church. Let me read 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. The dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. Hey, you got problems today? Let me give you comfort. Jesus is coming back for the church.
Yeah. Mighty fine words today. Been a good episode.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We are fired up. I'm fired up. Me and Kayla's been talking about it for a week.
Yeah.
So we're ready to record. And it's been a good break, but I'm ready. Also, this past season, I felt because we had so many things happening, projects with the church, other things that demanded our attention, we felt that season 5 of Hope for the Soul, just transparently, we didn't give it our best. And but season 6, come on, somebody. Season 6, it might be the devil's number, but we ain't giving it the devil's effort.
We're back.
Not today, devil. Not today.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Next week, Murray and Garrett Ray, great episode. Tune in then.